Good day to everyone. I'm Krisha Fabi Hempes, BS Ed English 2A1, and here's my interview with my cousin who lives in a different geographical location, so that's why she knows a different dialect aside from Filipino and English. And in this video, you're going to know her experiences and adjustments because she lives in a different country. And I want to say sorry about the background noises that you may hear along the video. So let's go.
Okay.
Let's start now.
Okay, so hello, my name is Amy Krisha Gueto. Yes, I am the cousin of Krisha Hempes. And I'm 18 years old, currently living in London, Britain, United Kingdom. You get the vibe. It's 12 p.m. ng hapon, evening. Yeah. And I'm here for an interview. Oh my gosh. And I'm eating an orange. Everyone have an orange.
So let's begin with the first question. Tell us everything about your region and dialect and share your memorable experience in using it.
Okay, so in England we don't really have a dialect, but there is in certain places like Scotland, Wales, or Ireland. But we mainly use English because it's the best way to communicate with each other. But there are certain accents where you can't really understand people. They're speaking English, but the accent with it is sometimes a little bit too deep, so you can't really understand them. So the area that I live in is the central, like the main capital city of England, which is London, southwest. The most memorable memory I had when moving here, is that the question? When moving here?
Yes. When you're using it, something like that.
It's when I was younger, my English was not as strong. So when using certain words in English, it's very hard to communicate with the teachers. So there were cases where instead of asking if I could go to the bathroom, I asked them if I can have the bathroom. So it was kind of like, as a child, obviously you wouldn't realize like what you said wrong, but the people here, they are very specific with what you actually want, type of thing. Yeah.
So, our second question is, in your existence, what are the challenges you face as you continue to use your dialect in your daily encounters?
There are moments where when I get comfortable with some of my close friends, I start to speak in Tagalog to them, thinking that they're going to respond in Tagalog. And then they're like, Amy, we don't know what you're saying. Like, you need to speak English. And then that's where I'm like, oh, right, you're not Filipino. I'm Filipino. Yeah. That's a struggle.
After transferring to your place for your studies, how did you adjust or adapt the living and atmosphere in your new place? State the coping mechanism you utilize.
Okay. So I recently just moved out of my parents' house. I'm in university in England. And the area that I lived in is a lot more, less fancy. When I moved here, everything was more expensive and more fancy, and a lot of people dress nicely. And I come from the suburbs. I'm not rich. So when I came here, it was a lot of shock because everyone already knew everyone, and everyone was based on their own ethnicity. So all the Filipinos will be together, all the Arabs will be together, the Iraqis, and it made me feel left out because I don't fit most of that category. And the Filipinos that do live here are not the type of people who are culturally inclined, how I am, where I really appreciate the culture in the Philippines and how I use my upbringing to my morals and my beliefs. And one of my coping mechanisms was just purely going home every weekend or calling my mom from time to time, because it is a hard life living by yourself, especially when the people you surround yourself with love is not here. So that's one of my coping mechanisms. Or I just get really busy half of the time and I read like random books. Like I read so many books. It's so crazy. Yeah.
So, for our fourth question, what is your advantage in knowing various language or dialect aside from Filipino and English?
Okay, so my advantages is that I bring both culture. As you know, I moved here when I was 8, so I have both culture in my heart. I brought up differently here and brought up differently in the Philippines, so that made me very much open to communicating with different people from different countries, and it also helped me understand different languages as well. Because right now I'm learning like Arabic or Kurdish. Like all my friends are from different places and they're all teaching me different languages so that I'm able to communicate with them as much as they're able to communicate with me, because I'm also teaching them my languages. And the best way for us to communicate that is through English. So when we have that connection, it just makes everything better. Like we're able to communicate our feelings and understand each other better, and just have that very open mindset where we make this a place of love and just kindness.
Even once, did you ever think or plan to change and completely forget your first dialect in exchange to the language you acquire and learn from others? Why or why not?
Initially, actually no, I've never actually had that thought in my head. I never felt the need to forget about Tagalog or my culture, because I've always seen that part of me to be able to communicate with family back at home. I always thought of it, if I forget Tagalog and I forget who I am and where I came from, then I forget the hard life that I was brought up in before coming to a different country. I forget who I am and like just purely what I am as a person, because I am a young, beautiful, intelligent Filipino woman. Like, and I accept every part of that. I don't feel that need to hide it or forget about it, because if I do, then who am I gonna be? My mother raised me to be this intelligent Filipino woman. She didn't raise me to be British. She didn't raise me to be like that. She raised me in the Philippines, and she raised me here. But I was born and raised there initially. That's my first language. Every one of my relatives are Filipino, so I don't feel the need to change that part of me, because if I do, that means I'm just shutting out that part of my life and shutting out my family. And I love my family. Like I don't do that. That's very weird, you know.
For our last question, what will be your greatest advice and tips to those individuals like you who have diverse dialect from the people around them?
Okay. My best advice I can give is that. Oh my gosh, what's my best advice? Wait lang. Let me think.
No, take your
Okay.
time.
The best advice I can give is really, really involve yourself in all the cultures in whatever language that you're speaking. Because with that, there are certain words that doesn't translate to the English dictionary, that doesn't translate in any other languages. So it's more like a feeling. It makes sense more when you're there in the country, or you're there speaking with the people who speak that language and who is from that country. So if you're still keeping that culture, you're still keeping in touch with family, relatives, like friends who are from that country and still able to speak that language, then yes, well done to you. But some people forget that just knowing the words is not enough. You need to be able to understand the meanings of it. Like there are certain words in Tagalog that I'm not able to explain in English and can only explain the feeling of it, because that's how different it is when you speak it and when you know the language and you know the culture by your heart.
So,
That's my advice.
that will be all. Thank you for being my interviewee. Congrats.
No problem,